What's going on, go-getters? In this week's episode, we talked to Bill Corcoran Jr.
Bill is a pioneer in this area for podcasting. He's a really big mentor to me and Kevin, and he's a great businessman.
Make sure to tune into this episode throughout. There's a lot of free gaming here. We think you guys will really enjoy this episode.
Like, subscribe, share. Peace.
Peace.
Boom.
Boom. Go-getters podcast. X on the stacks.
Let's go.
This shit like a Marvel DC crossover right here. You guys aren't even ready for this one.
This is legit.
For sure.
Welcome to the show, Bill. How you doing today?
Good, man. This is great. You know, I'm super pumped to be here.
Yes.
I always tell everybody, you know, I've only ever been on a few other podcasts, like as a guest.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a lot easier being a guest than it is being a host.
That's
gonna be
interesting.
Yeah.
Me and him were just talking about that the other day. We were wondering, like, would it be easier to be the host or the guest? And I think we came to the conclusion that it would be the guest, right? Because there's not a lot of setup. That
Yeah,
you
it's just like you show up.
Yeah, you just show up and
Show up.
fucking go
Don't really
at
have to prepare much.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just
Yeah.
it's a lot easier. But
is.
you know, and I love what you guys are doing. So it's super cool to be in another studio.
Oh yeah,
man.
Thank
You
you.
know,
We love
so-
it. We love what you do, man. Like, you're a pioneer.
Thanks,
You're
bro.
you're the guy who's spearheading the podcasting
Yeah,
game in this area. So if you haven't already, I'm just gonna start by saying this. Go check out my dog Bullet Bill Corcoran.
Bullet Bill.
on the
Bullet
gram.
Bill. That's
love that.
tough.
And On the Stacks podcast, it's huge. Check it out. If you haven't already, check it out.
Fuck
It's just
yeah.
crazy. So,
Thanks, bro.
Bill, how did you get into podcasting?
It was an accident.
Can you tell the story?
Yeah,
Like, how did you get into it?
Yeah, so I started at my family business, Corcoran Printing.
Shout out.
Yeah, shout out to the fan biz, right?
Oh yeah.
So I just one time took a photo of myself sitting on a pallet of envelopes. So like we did this really large order,
Yeah.
like obnoxiously large,
Okay.
and larger than normal. And my dad was like, "Hey, take a picture, take a picture of something, those envelopes, and post it on
Yeah.
social media." And I'm like, that's boring. I don't know, you know. So I didn't know what to do to you know. He said like just post a photo, like anything, and I'm just like, all right. So I thought about it and kept thinking about it. I was like, who cares about envelopes? Like that's boring. Like no one's gonna care about looking at a pile of envelopes, right? So like one day I just went down onto the floor and you know there's pallets and pallets of envelopes, and I just propped my phone up, you know, across the room from me, and I just sat on the pallet of envelopes like this, right? I just did like this goofy pose,
Yeah.
and just posted it on Facebook and Instagram, and this is back in 2019, the beginning of 2019, right? So this is far back.
Yeah.
It's crazy to tell this. It's crazy to talk about this now. So I posted that photo, and it got a lot of engagement. You know, like people commenting and liking on it. You know, so I'm like, oh, okay, let me do this again. Like let me post like another, I don't know, something, me doing something.
Yeah.
You know, so I did. I took another photo of me. This time I did like a running jump onto the stacks, which we didn't call. By the way, the stacks name didn't even come out yet at that point. So I took this video of me jumping onto it and did like a slow motion thing. So it was like dramatic, you know.
Yeah.
And also posted more photos, and people thought it was like the coolest thing in the world. I don't know why. I guess because it was kind of like it's very industrial looking, and it was like very kind of like out of place. Like I was dressed like I was dressed like maybe in a suit at the time. You know,
Pretty corporate.
yeah, pretty corporate,
Exactly.
corporate nightmares. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so I was suit guy, right? And I'm sitting on a pallet of paper, and people are probably thinking like, "What the hell is this guy doing?" Right?
Yeah.
And it just got a ton of engagement, and then I had people commenting actually on it and saying like, "Hey, how can I come do this?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "What? Do what?"
People want to do this?
Yeah, people are like, "Yo, let me come get my picture."
Yeah.
I'm like, "Why?"
Yeah.
Like to me, like I didn't understand like why people wanted to do it. Like I guess it was kind of cool and like, you know, funny, right?
Yeah.
And so people were pretty serious about it, and then to the point like people were like messaging me, and then my one old sales manager from my previous job, Mark, shout out to Mark, he messaged me. He's like, "Yo," and this is where the name comes from, right? So I gotta give him a little credit. He said, "Yo,
Give him steak one day, right?
you ready? Yeah, ready?" He said, "Yo, let me come jump on dem stacks with you." Right? So
Dem?
that's what he said. Dem stacks.
Yeah.
dope.
Let me come jump on dem stacks with you. He's like, and we'll get lunch, we'll catch up. You know, it's been a while. And I'm like, are you serious? He's like, yeah. He's like, let me just come let's do like a quick photo. You know, just like you post those other ones, but just like have, you know, with me.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, all right, dude, whatever. It's like, if you're buying lunch, let's do it. So he came in, took a photo. I posted that photo of me and him, and then the rest is really history. But I posted that, and then once there was somebody in the photo besides just me, and it was somebody that didn't work at the company.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, who the hell is this guy, Mark, right? So I post, this is Mark Harris, like this is what Mark does, for a living,
Right.
kind of sort of. Like I gave him like a
highlight.
like a little plug,
Yeah.
like a little 3-line simple plug on social media, and then that's when the floodgates opened, and people are like, yo, how can I do this? How can I get on this, right? How can I get in on this? And I'm like, I still like couldn't comprehend what was happening, and so at that point, I just started telling everybody yes. Even though like people were asking, I had no plan, right? And this is still, again, we didn't even get to the podcast yet, right? So this was just photos.
Yeah.
It's ultimately like a blog, right? At this
Yeah,
point?
it was just kind of like a social media like little campaign, if that's what you want to call it.
Yeah.
So I basically told everybody yes, enough people to last a whole year, literally, because I was like I would only like post one a week.
Yeah.
So I had like over 50 people. At some point, I think I probably had like 100, right? Because people, every week that I would post one, more people would inquire. And I just kept telling everybody yes. And I was like, yes, and I'll get back to you. That's what I said. I was like, yes, I'll get back to you. And just again, so then that went on for a whole year, almost every single week, religiously, of me posting like, yo, this is Darrian. This is what Darrian does, right? Yo, this is Kevin. This is what Kevin's all about, right? And then it just got to the point where, like, again, it just kept getting, like, bigger and bigger, and people were like, yo, we want to hear more from these people. And, like, people started suggesting that I start a podcast or a YouTube channel. And but back to the name real quick. So Dem Stacks, I took that, and that's where I came up with the name On the Stacks. So my thinking, because I'm obsessed with social media, right? I always have been, because I think it's a great tool for marketing, right? And branding. So I came up with that name On the Stacks, and I put a hashtag in front of it.
Yeah.
Obviously everybody knows what hashtags are used for on social media, right? So my thinking was, okay, so every time I post one of these photos with somebody, I'll just put the hashtag On the Stacks in the post, so that, in a year from now, you click that hashtag, you can go back to 2019. You see every photo ever posted with anything ever associated with it.
That's dope.
So that was like the thinking, and not even knowing that it would ever turn into a podcast, right? It was just like, I just wanted people to see all the photos of all the people and stuff. Like, that was it. All in one place. And to keep it all in one place on social media, it was just the hashtag, simple. And nobody ever used it ever before. Like, you can search a hashtag like on Instagram. Zero. Like, there's never been any, right? There's no other. So so then after a year of that, like I said, people suggested do a podcast, YouTube channel. I'm like, I can't do YouTube. I can't do video. That's like way too much, too complicated. Obviously, right off the bat. So started an audio podcast, and started that in 2020.
Dang,
and
that's
now
not that long ago.
I know, almost 3 years.
Was 2020 a hard year to start podcasting? Because I would imagine it would be very difficult. To host a podcast in 2020.
Literally 3 weeks before the pandemic, the 2020 shutdown. Literally.
Did you like? Well, I would imagine you did, but did you have like a hard time getting people in? Like, were people like kind of cautious, like whether or not to be at that time? Because like everybody was still super scared at that time.
So like the way I started was like I actually recorded like a few weeks worth, probably like 3 or 4, before I actually launched the first one. So like that actually gave me like a leeway into the shutdown. So, but I'll answer your question in a second. So I had a few already like banked, already done. I released 1 or 2, and then the shutdown happened, right? Couldn't record in person. So like I'm recording these in person, right? I put together like a little crappy studio, which became cooler after some time. But I put together a real small studio in my family business there, like just an unused office. So, released a couple, 2020 shut down. And then I was like, oh, crap. Well, I have a few banked. 2 weeks. We'll be back. Right? We'll be back.
That's what they told us.
Right? That's what they told us, right? Yeah. So I was like, yeah, we'll be back in 2 weeks. And I'll have people back in. Like I had enough to last me. I was like, I'm not even gonna miss a beat, And obviously everybody knows what happened next. It was more than 2 weeks.
Oh yeah.
So, but I refused to give it up. I refused to quit. And I was like, well, I'll just do them virtually. Like,
interesting.
I was like, I released a few. I was like, I wasn't gonna just stop or put it on hold. Because like my thinking was like, not that I invested a ton of money, but I was like, I just started this thing. I'm not gonna just stop after a few weeks because of what was going on in the world. Not that it wasn't serious, because it was serious, but I was like, I'll just do them virtually in the meantime. I'll just do them at home on Zoom, video, but just extract the audio. Because at this point, my show was audio only. And so I just recorded them. I already had a few people kind of lined up that were already committed like weeks before the shutdown. And so I just kept going. I just kept doing it. Like I just did it from my house, send people Zoom links, and we just kept going. And I mean, I was lucky enough, like I said, because at this point the On the Stacks brand has already existed for like a year and a few months at this point, right? Yeah. So to answer your question, like, was it hard to get people? Not really so much, in a good way, thankfully, because I already had like the brand already kind of rolling, and I had so many people like already interested in actually now coming on the podcast. So like a lot of the people that were just on the Stacks photos like before this now want to be on the podcast.
Oh, wow.
Right. So it was like now I had 50 people that already.
You already had a bank of guests that you can just pull from.
Right. Yeah.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I had a lot of people. Plus because it was new, right? Like it was a new podcast in the area, and not that I'll never claim to be the first and only one to do it in the area. Like at that time, there's been podcasts around before me, but I think just because it was new and it was kind of like, what the heck's going on here? This is like different, So people wanted to hop on the train, and I was like, let's go. So yeah, I just kept going with it.
That's interesting.
Just kept going.
How long did it take when you initially did the Instagram and Facebook posts until people you didn't know wanted to be on the Stacks?
Oh,
that's an interesting time, because in the beginning it's all like the people in your immediate circle who are like up to cool things. But like, how long did it take for people like to want to get a piece of what you had going on? You didn't know.
I don't know an exact number, but probably it couldn't have been that long, because I mean, there was people even, I'll say like in the first like 10, 15, 20 episodes that, not that I didn't know who they were. I just maybe knew of them, knew their name, but it was just like every time you have a guest on, and I'm sure you guys experience the same thing. Every time you have a guest on, as soon as their episode drops, now all their friends and people are like, yo, how do I get on that show? Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what happened.
Okay.
It was like then I started getting requests, early on from people that, didn't really know, but also because like my show is also, or any podcast really, like when you have a guest on, it's partially a promotion of that person and whatever they do, right?
Showcase.
Yeah. So like everybody also saw it as like a cool free plug for whatever they're doing, business, nonprofit, whatever. It didn't matter what it was. And people like really saw it because like I was promoting the heck out of it, like on social media, even throughout the pandemic, like, when everybody was stuck at home, like I think that was actually probably a good thing for my show that, because people were looking for content. I think at that time, like everybody was like, so into just being on their phones and just scrolling, looking for content. So, I got a lot of traction even early on then.
Surprisingly, 2020 was like the boom year of podcasts, wasn't it? It was like the year that I would say it upped from whatever number it was the year prior of people doing podcasts. I think it doubled in 2020
I think
and
you're
2021.
Right. Somewhere in there, I'm pretty sure.
Something crazy like that. So that definitely was like the boom year of just everybody trying it, because everybody was just sitting at home and with your friends doing nothing, bullshitting, cracking jokes.
Yeah.
Everybody decided to pick up a microphone.
Yeah.
So I got a question.
Yeah.
So was there a hump you had to get over in like putting your voice out there?
Oh, totally.
Like, were you ever?
Oh, I hated it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hated it at first.
Really?
That's interesting. Can you talk about that?
Did you guys didn't?
Yo, bro, we recorded episodes for a year before we posted them, because we were like, oh, this is a good one. And they were like, nah.
Oh, wait, so it took you a year to get over it?
Yeah.
Okay, wait. So, but just either hearing your voice or just that you didn't think the content was good enough?
No, like maybe it was like a fear of judgment. Like you were gonna put it out.
That's what it was.
Then people are gonna be like, oh, that sucks. That's stupid.
Yeah, maybe.
It wasn't a whole year. I would say it was probably it was more around like 6 to 7 months. But like,
I don't know, man.
Well, I got
a while.
I got an update, or I got a what's that shit called? A Snapchat memory from the podcast we did with JJ in here, like a year. Or it was in October. I think it was almost like a year ago, a couple weeks ago. But so yeah, we were doing, I guess, recording for like a year, but that was before we even had a roadcaster. I think that was before anything. We were just recording on like phones and shit, weren't we?
Like GarageBand type shit.
Yeah, it was. It was like GarageBand, and then like that other audio thing that I had on this laptop, but. So, yeah, we were trying it for a while, but we were also doing, like, just our friends. Like, it was just us and our friends just bullshitting. We didn't, like, actually take the initiative of, like, getting other people on the podcast.
Okay, yeah.
And it started, like, one day, Kevin and I were, like, together just hanging out.
Yeah.
And we were, like, we worked together in this job that we both hated. Like we would be at work together, like bitching every day.
Mm-hmm.
And then we got home one day, we were like, and I said something to him. I was like, "Yo, okay, fuck it. Let's just record it, post an intro, and then that would be the start. Like let's just say
that was the first one.
Yeah, we just decided to pull the trigger. Like there was still fear, there was still everything there, but we were just like, screw it.
It's funny you said that too, because that thought just popped into my head yesterday, and I vividly remember that. Like you were like, bro, like just fuck it, let's just do it. Because I remember, I don't know, it was probably more or less me than you, because I just overthink all these things. But I was scared about a lot ever since the whole start of this thing. But then one day we were just like, fuck it. We came up here, did it. We recorded for like 45 minutes, I think. Yeah. And it's still one of our best episodes to ever air. Like that episode blew the fuck up. And like the love that we got from it was insane. And you can go, I literally listened to like the first 10 minutes of it the other day. And I was like, bro, we were awful back then. Like, episode 1, we were fucking awful.
Yeah, that's how mine are too. Don't listen to my early on ones.
Go listen to the beginning of all this.
Don't do it.
That's what everybody says.
Yeah, no, but like for me, I mean, like,
what's your experience like?
Well, yeah, so like I hated my voice at first, but like I still did it. Like I didn't have the same situation like you guys, like where I recorded a bunch and just never put them out.
Yeah.
Every single one I've ever recorded, they've been released.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah. So
brave.
We'd get in trouble.
You're brave.
We'd get in a lot of trouble.
Knocking on our door.
Yeah. No, I guess I just, I don't know. I just at that point in time, like I didn't care what people thought. I thought I was creating good content. I mean, it is not that it wasn't,
For
but
sure.
like,
For sure.
like I was like, well, this is good content.
Yeah.
Like I was just like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. Like this is cool, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just like, screw it. I was like, I don't care if someone doesn't like it.
That's the hardest thing to get over in content creation in general, is just that fear. And we were talking about this on the podcast that we just did. But just that initial fear of getting over the judgment of what you think people will care about you. But a lot of people don't really give a fuck at all. Most of the time, they'll just support you. They'll just brainlessly support you for no reason.
Yeah. That's what I found throughout time. I mean, honestly, like, yeah, people made fun of me. Like people are like laughing at me, like, dude, like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Like people were laughing at it. Like people laughed at the whole thing, like even before it was a podcast. And I don't know. I just I don't let that stuff get to me.
That's
like,
good.
I never did.
Yeah.
So I've just always had that mentality, like I don't care. But I also then make fun of myself, like like I bust my own ass.
Yeah.
And my thinking of that is like, if you're brave enough to put out the content, like bust your own ass, like no one can cut you down at that point, right?
Yeah,
like
right.
Because like you're doing it.
Yeah.
Like what are they doing?
Right.
Nothing.
That's something we
Nothing.
would say all the time.
No thing. You're doing no thing.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, just put out the content, man, because you'll look back on it, and it's not gonna matter.
Yeah.
No, I think like imagine Kevin and I talk about this all the time, and I think it's a really cool idea. Like imagine when you're 60, right, and you have a daughter, son, you have a son. Imagine he's all grown up and he thinks to himself, "What was my dad like when he was in his 30s or when he was younger?" He can go back and watch those episodes of who you were and what you were talking about, and
it's crazy to think about
really
that,
cool.
man.
Yeah,
but it is cool. It's cool. I know we talked about this just not long ago too. Like before we came on the show, we talked a little bit about that. But yeah, that is cool to be able to have that, like, content like this is just gonna live on forever, and it's a cool thing.
I want to know something too about you, because I know Kev is slowly evolving in this way, and in a good way. But as a young man, were you always like good at communicating? Did you always have a voice? Were you always kind of charismatic, or is this something you had to learn?
No, I think I was always. I guess I like to think I was good at it. I don't want to sound like a egotistical, cocky asshole here, but no. I mean, I've just always been. I don't know. I think I've always been able to relate to people very well, and it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who it was, where it was, where anybody's at in life, business, personal, whatever. It just didn't matter. I can relate to anyone.
Yeah.
And my job, like I work in sales. Right. So being a sales guy, right? Like you got to be a people person to begin with. Right. So, I already had those skills kind of going into it, but even going back to, even 10 years ago, I feel like I was still always, just being able to connect.
That's
with
such
anyone,
a useful skill
with
to have
anyone
in this
on
business.
any level.
Yeah, how important is that? How important
Oh my
is that
God,
skill?
dude, it's like 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
It's like you have to be able to do it. You have to be able to connect. You have to be able to communicate. I mean, it's literally everything,
You know what I want to talk about too? You're heavily involved in Wilkes-Barre Power.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, networking group.
You're the organizer of that group? Did you found that?
I didn't start it. But
How'd that work?
Yeah, so I got involved. So it's a local networking group.
Yeah.
We have an event once a month.
Mm-hmm.
It's usually always on a Thursday from 6 to 8 p.m. It's $35 to join for the whole year.
Oh, okay,
And
that's cool.
You come to an event, and it's business professionals, all
Nice.
industries. No age restrictions, no industry restrictions, nothing. It's just you come to the event, and it's usually at a local bar, restaurant, and we just throw a bunch of people in a room together, and just go talk to people.
That's
it.
cool.
Just go talk to people. So I got involved with it, back probably like, oh my God, like probably 2013 or something maybe. And it was just a member. Like I just became like a member. I was like, oh, I need a network. I need to meet more people.
Yeah.
So I did. So I did that, and met a ton of people, and then I was going to them like religiously. And the board, the people that were running at the time, were like, hey, you seem pretty interested in this year all the time. Like we have a spot coming up on the board. Like, would you be interested in being on the board and helping? And I'm like, yeah, I'm in.
Yeah.
So I joined the board probably back in like 2014 maybe, and yeah, I've been on it ever since. The organization didn't really exist during COVID, obviously, for a couple of years. We were on pause, but because it's all in person stuff. But yeah, so it's just a networking group, and honestly, like that's like networking literally is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's big.
Especially for a salesperson. I mean, I still think it's big for everybody regardless. And I just said this at our last event recently. Like, you don't need to be a salesperson. You don't need to be a business owner to go to a networking event. Like, because you never know who you're going to meet. Like, you might meet your next employer.
Yeah.
Like, if you're looking for a new job, right? Doesn't matter the industry. Doesn't matter what you do, right? You might meet your next employer. You may even meet your future wife. Who knows?
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't, you know what I mean? Like, it's not like, some people come for personal reasons to, maybe get out of there, or like, and maybe they have like an awkward like anxiety of like being in groups of people and meeting new people. So like, it's just kind of like get out of your shell and get outside of your comfort zone and just meet people.
That's cool, man.
And like, you never know where you never know where it's gonna go.
Yeah.
Like, that's the biggest thing. It's like, and constantly showing up, because like, you show up once, no one's gonna remember you.
No.
Like, unless you slip and fall on the floor, like no one
happened.
Right? No. But like, unless something like that happens, like no one's, no offense, like no one's probably gonna remember you if like you just met somebody. Like, you're gonna meet probably 25, 30 people, right? The odds of really remembering every single person is little, right?
Yeah.
But if you keep showing up, people are gonna eventually remember you. And the other thing, like with networking, is like, with a big misconception, is like people think you have to go there and sell, and that's not networking. You don't show up and sell somebody.
Yeah.
You don't show up and sell anything for that matter. It's just like, how can I help you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, if you can
Connect with people.
Yeah, it's it. It's just like, it's just not like, hey, I sell this, and would you want to buy it? It's nothing. Like, because people do that, and I always tell people, like, that's not networking. That's not networking.
Yeah.
Just show up, just have a conversation, and ask how you can help the other person.
Yeah.
That's it. And that's networking.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I'd love to see you guys there.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
yeah, we'll be
Absolutely.
there.
Yeah, we'll definitely attend one of them.
Yeah.
Or more.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah.
But no, I had a quick side question for you. Do you ever have people that still like hit you up to come just take photos on your stacks?
Yeah, kind of like some people that
Really?
like some people that that like don't want to be on the show.
Really?
You know what I mean? Like, there's just some people who are like, oh, like, I don't want to come on the show, but like, can I just come get a picture?
Yeah.
Like, occasionally, not as much now, but like, yeah, back then, like, even when it was just audio version, there was probably more people then that were just like, hey, I don't need to come on it, but can I just like come get a photo? Like, as if like I'm some sort of celebrity or something, because I'm not. But like, yeah, people have done that. Like,
Yeah. Well, your life is heavily revolved in networking, going back to that. Which one do you think has helped you more, that power group that you're involved in, or just podcasting in general? Because he and I talk about that all the time, just being like the biggest networking hack I feel like in this world is podcasting.
Yeah.
It's unreal.
I think it's a combination of everything.
Yeah.
It really is. I don't think it's just one thing. I think it's doing a little bit of everything, which is why I do so much of everything, because it really is just a little bit of doing all the things. It's social media, right? It's in-person networking. It's podcasting.
Yeah.
Just anything. Like, it's all that stuff combined. It's not just one thing. And, when you combine all that stuff together, like, you're going to build a huge network.
Yeah.
If you're just constantly visible, that's it. Like, you just constantly have to be visible, you know, and visibility is like just being visible on social media, right? Just
Yeah.
being visible on social media, being visible in person,
Yeah.
all that stuff.
Do you think everybody should make content?
Yes and no.
What do you think?
I don't know. I guess it depends. Like
Some form of content. It could be like a written
Oh,
form
yeah,
of content,
absolutely.
or podcasting where it's just your audio, your
Yeah, because,
voice,
like-
picture content,
Yeah,
video
because
content.
yeah, because like not everybody can create certain types or all types, or maybe you're just
Yeah.
not comfortable and you don't ever want to do a video show like
Mhm.
this.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's people that might want to produce content, but they're a really good writer, and maybe they're not a good speaker,
Right.
Yeah.
or they're not good on video.
Mm.
So well, then so what? Then just start a website, start a blog, because there are people that will probably want to read your article.
Mhm.
That you can if you can read an article in like 2 to 5 minutes, like people are gonna want to still consume that. You know,
I think some people just lack that creative gene, though. I genuinely believe that.
sometimes, but also
I
like,
don't know.
but also I think people think they lack it, but they
Yeah.
don't.
I think so too. I think I agree with what you got going on.
That's
Yeah.
fair. You kind of just got to find what it is, because everybody has a thing. Like, you could kind of say any endeavor is a creative endeavor. Like, if you play basketball, that could be your creative endeavor.
Yeah.
So-
It's
I
just like
think fundamentally all humans have like an innate desire to express themselves.
Yes.
yeah,
and that
in
can
some
be
way,
in any way.
right?
But I think it's always there, you know.
Yeah, and I think like the creative side, like people tell me I'm creative.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I never thought I was up until like I started the podcast, until I
Yeah.
started doing all that and doing everything that I do over the last few years. But you know, that just goes to show like I didn't think I was a creator.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like a content creator or any creator, or I was creative.
Mm.
Like, you know, my parents would tell me that, but like I'm not like an artist. Like I can't paint, right?
Yeah.
Like I can't, like I don't play instruments.
Mm.
I'm not like when you think of like artists, you think like those types of things, right? It's like I never did anything like that.
Yeah.
So like I never really thought I was
Yeah.
creative, because I was never like, I can't draw, like nothing, right?
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
So, but until I started doing the podcast stuff and creating content for social media, I guess I realized like, oh, I guess I am creative. And I think sometimes you just have to put yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I think once you put yourself out there, you realize like, oh, okay, maybe I actually am creative.
Yeah.
So like, even if you think you're not, I was that person.
Yeah. Maybe you just have to find a way in which you are creative, like a
Yeah.
way that
Yeah,
you
you just
can
got
create.
you just got to try different things.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's about. I think it's
So-
just trying.
With that, like, have you always been a kid who like thought big, or did you like? What did you think? Where did you think your life was going as like a middle schooler or like a high school kid?
Dude, I don't know. You know, that's such a good question, because like I was never really that kid who was like, I'm gonna be a doctor,
Yeah.
Yeah.
or
Right,
I'm gonna, you know what I mean,
right.
or I'm gonna be a lawyer.
Did you
Mm.
have any inclination like where I was
No.
going?
No,
Hmm.
nah, nothing,
Really?
nothing. Yeah, I was never, like I said, I was never really that kid that was like, you know, this is what I'm doing.
Yeah.
This is what I'm gonna go down this path because I'm gonna become X.
Yeah.
I don't think I ever really. Of course, you know, as a kid, every kid probably said like, oh, I'm gonna be a doctor or whatever. Like
Sure.
as all kids, we all probably said something that, you know,
Yeah.
that we maybe never became, but it might have just been something that, you know, as a 7-year-old kid, you might have just thought it was cool at the time.
Yeah.
And then by the time you're 15, you forget it. You forget I even said that, right?
Mhm.
But no, I never, like, you know, when I went to college, you know, I have a degree in PR, in public relations,
Mhm.
which is obviously communicating and, you know, communication. So, you know, obviously, like I learned communication skills in school, but, you know, I didn't know what I was going to do with it.
Hmm.
Right? Like I had no clue, you know, and back, you know, like I graduated college in 2011. And at that time, like, yeah, there was social media and stuff. It only been around for a few years,
Yeah.
like 4 years, right?
Mhm.
But yeah, I mean, it wasn't like at that time, like a podcast, forget it. Like never even crossed my
Yeah.
mind. You know, like, stuff like that, like
Mhm.
never crossed my mind.
Did you have like this? Was there like a force that wasn't satisfied within you? Like you got a job and you were working certain jobs. Like was there ever a point where you're like, okay, is this it, or did you want more? Was there more that you wanted to fulfill?
Yeah, I think it's always just wanting to do more. Like I have the mindset of just always constantly growing and evolving.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like wanting more. Like I'm a hungry person. Like
Mm.
like I just want to do better.
Yeah.
You know, like I
Yeah.
think I've always had that. So, you know, obviously also as like a salesperson, like being in sales, like it's like, yeah, you want to be like the best salesperson,
Mm.
right? And it's like, in sales, like the job is sort of like the job is like almost never done. It's like never ending. You can always do more. You can always build more sales. Like it's like you can, the opportunities are like endless.
Right.
You know. What was the question again?
Like, was there a force that was at that time before you had any like passionate project that you had going on? Was there a force that was like inside you saying, I need more. I need to do more. I need to figure something out.
I guess it was always just like wanting to like build something kind of too, like of my own. Like actually, like I think I always, maybe like 10 years ago or something, like I always like, you would see stuff on social media back when social media like wasn't very big, and you'd be like, oh, like I want to do something like that. I want to create my own brand or something. Like how do, what I mean? That I think that's probably been a thought like in my mind like a long time ago, and I never really thought about it really like until like recently. And it's like now I built a brand of my own and built like this company of my own. And
that's interesting.
But I think it was always like just trying to build something, like build a community. I guess I'm just like with Wilkes-Barre Power and just like everything I do. Like I guess I just try to surround myself with people that obviously that I like. Just and just creating like a community of people and just building something I guess bigger than yourself.
That's great.
Yes.
And I think that's what I've done with the show, and you guys are doing it here too, which is super cool. But I guess also maybe like subconsciously, like as a kid, like in high school, I wasn't like one of the cool kids, So maybe this is like part of it too. Like I wasn't a cool kid. I didn't sit at the cool table at lunch. Right, like I wasn't like a loser or nothing. So like don't feel bad for people, but like you know what I mean. Like I was kind of like friends with everybody, but like almost friends with nobody. Like I had a few I had a few like close friends. But like I wasn't. I remember not being allowed to sit at the cool table, right, with the cool kids, and now you look at it now. And it's like I built my own table.
Yeah,
right?
Get back in
that's
here.
cool.
Yeah.
That's dope.
Right,
You built your own table.
Yeah,
that's sick.
right. So
I
like
like to clip that right there. That's tough.
Fuck. You created your own table for
that's
like-minded, dope-ass individuals to sit at.
Yeah, so that's it, man. Like I created this podcast, right? And like I have a table, kind of like you guys have a table, right?
Yeah.
So like I created my own table of cool kids.
Yeah, man, that's cool because your table, your community, they're all growing off of each other.
Yeah.
They're all adding to each other's growth. They're all contributing with ideas and in tactics and collaborations.
That's right.
I'm not going to talk too much about that.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
I don't want to get too
but
federal.
it's also very organic too. Like the popular kid table. A lot of the times, what you'll see is people just trying to fit in with one another because they think it's the right thing to do. Oh, it's cool to sit here.
Right.
It's cool to do that.
Yeah, and like I never, like you're saying about like fitting in. Like I never really fit in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I was like, like I wasn't like I didn't fit in like in one spot.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. I never really fit in. And I forget what it was, probably like a year or so ago, maybe even longer. I don't know. I forget, but I posted something somewhere on LinkedIn and along those lines about like fitting in.
Yeah.
And like it didn't dawn on me, I think maybe until like as crazy as it sounds, like maybe up until like a year or so ago that, as kids, we all struggle. Like everybody, doesn't matter who you are.
For sure.
Everybody struggles to fit in. Even if you are one of the cool kids at the cool table, odds are, a lot of those kids are probably still like, just sort of faking it because they want to be at the cool table, right? But like everybody at some point in their life struggles to fit in, and everybody tries so hard to like almost like be somebody else.
Yeah.
And like not that I was trying to be somebody else, but like I didn't fit in really anywhere, so to speak. Like I can associate and be friends kind of with everybody, but like fitting in for me like wasn't it was never really like a thing, right? So I realized, like I said, the thing I posted on social media was like, I was never meant to fit in because like if you fit in, I know it sounds so cliche, but if you fit in, you're never going to stand out.
No.
You're just going to be like everybody else.
Yep.
Boom.
Oh my
Fit in,
God,
never
Bill,
gonna stand
dropping
out.
them
Right?
nuggets.
You're right.
Yo.
That's it, man. Like if you're just, if you're in a group of 20 people and you look like those 20 people and you act like those 20 people and that's all you do is associate with those 20 people, like that's it. You're you're a follower, you're not a leader, and it's just like you're fitting in, but you're gonna appear like everybody else.
You're programmed. You're programmed to operate in a system at that point. You're not an individual.
Right. Yeah. So like for me, it was like it took like my whole life to like realize all that happened for a reason, because like I was never meant to fit in anywhere. And I think that's why like I created my own thing, my own brand, my own platform.
Damn.
To stand out, and then to help make other people stand out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because like I take great pride in that. Like I take great pride in having people on the show and just like pumping you guys up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like when you guys come on my show, I can't wait to pump you guys up.
Hell
That's
yeah.
dope.
You know what I mean? Like
Hell yeah.
so like, you know, for me it's just like, plus I've always had like that PR, public relations, mentality, mindset,
sure.
right? Like communication skills, all that. You know, I love all that stuff, and you know, it's just fun, man. It's just so fun.
All right, so let me fire you up real quick.
Do it.
So
I'm already fired. I don't know if I can get any more fired up.
No, I got
Oh,
you. I'm
you
about to
can
get you more fired
up.
up.
All right,
Just
let's
wait.
do it.
Just
Let's
wait.
do it. All right.
So initially, you're making these posts on Instagram and Facebook, and these people are reaching out to you, and you're starting to like, okay, now this is a cool little hobby I got, right? And then he has like this phrase, check him out on the stacks. Passion, scratch that off. Obsession.
Yeah, I should have wore that when I wore the mindset today. But
so at what point did it evolve from a hobby towards like, okay, man, I'm passionate about this. Like I want to pursue this. And then it's like, nah, fuck that. I'm obsessed with this. Like I want this forever. I want to build this thing to the moon. Like how did that progress?
Oh yeah, the levels to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think it took that long. You know,
Really?
I guess because, you know, in a good way, like I had so many people that were interested in being on the show and people that were like listening to the show, and it fired me up. Like the more people that got interested in me and in the show, I got more interested.
It's like momentum, huh?
Yeah. It's like it just kept rolling. Like these people got interested in the show, so like then I would get more fired up, like literally every week. So I was, you know, I've dropped an episode every single week for the last like 3 years. But yeah, so like, you know, the whole passion / obsession thing, like, you know, I think everything doesn't matter what, like everything starts kind of like as a hobby / a passion, right? You can be passionate about anything. I mean, you know, you can be passionate about, you know, whatever, collecting XYZ cards, but never really make it into something bigger. It's just something you want to keep and maintain as a hobby or passion, right? But I don't know. So like for me, it was you know, I became obsessed. Like literally, like I know a lot of people. Some people won't understand this. You know, like a lot of people don't understand. Like, and I have that other hoodie of mine that I sell that says passion and then obsession, and it has passion crossed off. There's a line through passion.
Yep.
Because I think there's a huge difference in terms of a person, like people that are passionate about something, and then people that are obsessed with something. And I think, and when I say obsessed, I mean healthy. Like I'm not talking like, you know, obsession, like, you know, bad or unhealthy. It's like you're so obsessed with it that like no matter what, you're not going to give up, and you're just gonna, like you said, you're going to take it to the moon. Like for me, I want to take it to the moon. You know, like for me, it just, like I said, I gained the momentum, and I love it. I loved it. Like I loved everything about it, creating the content. Like you said, just, you know, having these types of conversations.
It's like a drug. It's literally like a drug. It's like caffeine or something that
I think there's an element.
Stimulates your brain.
Like I think you made a good point, because when we initially put out the content, we're maybe a little bit unsure. Like we know it's good, but then when others start to validate it, like, yo, that was a dope podcast. Or like this what you said here was outstanding. Like, and that kind of like, damn, maybe my shit is good. And then it keeps on coming from different people. And it's like,
it's always
legit.
And it's always the people you least suspect, and it's usually not your friends, which is like kind of also the interesting part, because like for me, like sure, some of my friends here and there would support it, but also a lot would just make fun of me. Yeah, you know what I mean? And they would just, you know, on the stacks, like, you know what I mean? But then I have people from all around the world sending me messages on LinkedIn telling me how cool the show is. Literally, people like from like Australia, from India, like just everywhere. That's crazy. Everywhere all around the world. And, you know, not that I need, like, I'm not the type of person, again, I think this is also partly the difference between, like, passion and obsession. Yeah. I think people that are just passionate about something, they need the pat on the back. They need the, yo, that's cool what you're doing. Yeah. And, like, of course, everybody likes that, too. But, like, somebody that when you're completely obsessed with something and you're building something, building a brand, building a company, legacy, whatever it is, right? Yeah. You don't need that. You don't. Like, it's still cool to get it, and we all like it, right? Like, absolutely. It's great. Facts. Like, Facts. But when you become obsessed with something, it doesn't matter whether there's one person clapping, none, or a million. You're still gonna do it.
Fuck yeah. Let's talk about it. Because if you are so open and you are so if you're so excited when people praise you, I think that might leave you vulnerable to when people critique you. Yes. You know what I mean?
That's fair. That's
I think to really be great, you just gotta quiet the noise and become obsessed. Like, this is what I'm doing regardless.
Yeah, you just put your head down.
Regardless.
Yeah, you just put your head down, like,
just get to work.
Yeah. And you know, like like I said, like you just keep going, like no matter what. And even if you think it sucks, even if it's like not your best episode or even if it's not the best, whatever, like you keep going. And like, honestly, like I tell people to give me feedback and all the time. I actually ask people, like I literally have gone out of my way to ask people what I could do better.
That's
you know,
dope.
like
You got to.
you have to, have to, like, especially like in this, like doing this type of stuff, like there's just, I mean, first of all, there's always room for improvement.
Absolutely.
I'm of that mindset. There's always room for improvement. You can always be better. You know, nothing's ever going to be perfect, but you can always be better and do better. And, you know, just ask people for feedback. And I would tell people, like, I would ask people questions about stuff about the show.
Yeah.
I'd be like, listen, like, you're not going to offend me. Like, honestly, like, you can't offend me. Like, and it's, I'm not going to take it to heart because I'm just trying to be better, you know, and, you know, because it is like also just more than a passion. Like, honestly, like somebody said it sucked. I'm like, well, I don't care. Then you're not my, first of all, you're not my listener then, but if it does suck, well, tell me, then I'll try to make it better, you know? But yeah, you can't let the haters get in the way. Plus, they're actually secret fans, by the way.
True.
That is true because I mean they're focused on what you're doing. They're critiquing things, so they're obviously noticing.
They're
watching,
sometimes those people pay attention more than your biggest fans.
You need them.
You do.
Yo, I'm about to put a stake in the ground though. A challenge from the Go-Getters to On the Stacks.
Let's go.
We're gonna do the first podcast on the moon.
Let's do it.
Me and Kev.
On the moon with Elon, right?
Yeah. We're gonna.
Well, I think one already happened from space, though. I actually,
No way,
dude.
No way.
That
happened.
The reason I'm
No
saying is
way.
because I messaged an astronaut. I'm not even kidding.
Did you?
Dude,
What the
did-
fuck?
Okay, bro, he's already 2 steps ahead of
Listen,
us.
did-
No,
did
this
I-
is fucked.
Did I not tell you how obsessed I am with this?
Jesus.
Right?
He did. No, what's up?
Yeah. So I honestly I don't even remember who. I don't remember his name. But listen, I'm also the person like, you know, I'm like, I'll DM anybody.
Yeah.
I'm not ashamed.
Yeah.
You know, like I'll ask anybody for anything. Like, you know, so yeah. At some point, it wasn't on the moon though, so
Yeah.
I think you might still be good.
Nice.
Obviously.
Or Mars. Well, fuck, I have to do
yeah.
Mars if
Yeah.
that's the case.
Yeah,
Post it up with Elon. Like,
But,
so, Elon, man. Like, what do you
Yeah,
think?
put me up on that. Put me up on it's one of those SpaceX rockets.
Yeah,
No,
we'd
but
be like a fucking chimp going up there, like an experiment.
Oh
But
yeah.
yeah,
Wait, no,
but yeah,
come back.
I messaged some astronaut at some point. I don't know. I had like, just a crazy. I always have crazy ideas. Like my brain just doesn't ever stop. But yeah, I forget what it was for. Maybe it was just like for like an anniversary episode, maybe of mine, like a year, like what? Maybe like a 2-year mark. I don't know, something. And I was like, oh, what can I do? Something cool for this whatever episode it was. And I don't know. One of my ideas, just because I like space stuff too. I DM'd some astronaut. And I was like, yo, I don't know how it would ever work. You're probably never going to see this message because he's got like 1 million followers. Don't even remember his name, but I could probably find it in my DMs. But
Johnny Kim.
But I don't know.
Yeah, Johnny Kim's a savage.
Maybe. But I messaged somebody. I was like, yo, how can we do a podcast like with you up in space? Because he was in space at the time. Like he was,
Oh my god.
like he
That
was,
would be
yeah, he was like somewhere.
insane.
I don't know where he
gosh.
was, but he was up there somewhere. And I was like, can you be a guest on my show?
Yeah.
And like, I don't really do virtual shows. Like obviously all mine are in person, and they mostly all have been. And but obviously I would have done this one virtually. I had no choice. But I was trying to get somebody like from that
Did
was
he hit
literally
you
in
back?
space. No, of course not. No, he didn't. But
That's funny.
Let's
but
go
yeah, so
float around in one of them fucking space
Imagine
simulators with the
But-
mics and
So
shit.
man, just floating
But then-
around.
yeah. But then of course because then I went down that rabbit hole. Of course I did enough Googling to find out that it already had been done, where somebody was at like the space station and did a podcast with somebody from Earth. So
That's fucked up.
but
Damn.
not on the moon
No,
though.
it's
But
Wait,
I don't think.
no in-person one done on moon though.
No, I don't think so.
All
But
right, so we're good.
but there was something in space to Earth, I believe.
That's tough.
Okay, that's
Boom.
honorable.
That'd be on our Neil
Boom.
Armstrong too. Just fucking
Yeah.
stake a go
Yeah.
flag in the
Yeah,
moon. That'd be
facts.
fucking.
Yeah.
We call it the Go-Getter Space Race now.
So,
Oh
all right,
my God.
first one to the moon wins.
Yeah,
Oh,
for sure.
ready to go.
All right,
If you
cool.
beat us to the moon, we're gonna have to go to fucking Mars.
Yeah.
the ring of Saturn or some shit. We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out for sure.
But no, one thing I wanted to bring up to you too is like, tell us a little bit about this OTS After Show thing that you've been doing, because I've been seeing you drop a bunch of pieces
Yeah.
about that all around, and I've been really interested to know like what your actual plan for that is.
Yeah, so yeah, because I actually haven't even. Sometimes I'm like really good. Sometimes I'm like really bad, like with with marketing some stuff. Like
Yeah.
so, like I'm marketing it, and I didn't even tell anybody what it was. But I guess that's part also of the marketing strategy, because it makes people like you like
Yeah,
like what the
curious.
hell is he doing, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so I shout out to my buddy Jerry Rizzo. We gotta go back. This is also gonna go back to networking. This is gonna be kind of a long story. I'm gonna try to
Okay.
keep it short though. So my buddy Jerry Rizzo, shout out to Jerry. Jerry's got a podcast called the Radio Tavern Podcast in New Jersey. And Jerry and I went to Penn State together, and I got a whole nother story about Jerry. Jerry's he's like my guy. But Jerry messaged me. Jerry's a big fan of my show also, right? And he I don't know, we just as podcasters, we're constantly just bouncing ideas back and forth. And I think at one point he was just like, "Yo, hey, like." It was all his idea, so I really can't even take credit for it. So he came to me with this idea of like, hey, do you ever think about doing like a little after show just about like a little bit to have like you in it and have somebody like interview you, but not like interview you like like on a podcast like this, but just a short, brief live, not like nothing like pre-recorded, edited, just a live, raw, unedited show, kind of about so from him it was also from like a fan standpoint, but also as another podcaster he wants to like know, I guess probably too, like what goes through my mind with a lot of this stuff. And he thought it would be cool to have somebody, me and somebody else, as like two people on a live, like Instagram live, just kind of talk about like one of my most recent episodes, but do it like every week. So like episode drops on Wednesday, then the following Thursday night, like grant not everyone's going to listen in the first 24 hours, I get it, but the next day we go live on social media, and he just kind of asks me some questions like, yo, like, hey, how'd you even get this guest? Like, how did this even happen? Cool. How'd you meet this person? Because a lot of times, at this point, sometimes a lot of the guests I don't even know or meet until like they come on the show. So like he thought it'd be cool to have like a little bit of like a backstory of like
that is cool.
Of like the making of the show, kind of like sitting down with the director or something like that. I don't know if I'm using the right wording, but yeah. So he suggested it, and he's like, it doesn't have to be me as like the person interviewing you. He goes, I wouldn't be offended if you just took this idea and just got somebody else to like do it with you. Like he's like, go for it. I'm like, no, man, you're the guy.
That's dope.
And he's like, oh, yeah, I'll do it if you want. I'm like, he's like, but if you want somebody else, he goes, I don't care. I'm like, no, I'm like, let's do it. And you're the guy. And he's like, all right, cool, let's do it. And so we've been testing some things, and we're still tweaking some things, I think. But probably maybe by the time this episode comes out, we'll either be just launching or ready to go. But yeah, so that's it. It's just gonna be like it might be short, it might be long, we don't even know yet. And not that there's no plan, but there isn't really like a plan, because I mean it's live and it's just gonna be like kind of off the cuff. Not that my show is scripted by any means, because it's not, but like there isn't gonna be like there's nothing I'm really gonna prepare for. I'm just gonna pop on and he's just gonna fire some questions at me. Like he listens or he watches every show. That's what he said to me. He's like, dude, I already watch every show. He's like, so I'll be the perfect person to interview, to ask you questions about the episode, because I watch all of them like as soon as they come out. So I'm like, oh, cool, so this is like perfect. But yeah, so that's what it's gonna be. It's just gonna be, and then like we may bring the guest on, maybe not all, depending on the everyone's situation, but like we may actually bring the guest on, like as like to join us on the live. And it's like, hey, let's talk about the show that we just did, cool. Like that just dropped yesterday. So we may occasionally bring the guest on if they want. We might not always do that. I have a couple other editors that edit the show. Shout out to Eric Curtis and Dave Thakura. So like one of them might come on, or both of them, or my photographer Darren Elias. Shout out to Darren. Darren might come on occasionally, because like all these people and do things behind the scenes for me with the show that nobody sees and nobody knows. Like I feel like a lot of people maybe still to this day don't even know that I have all these people working on the show and putting it together for me. So I'm super grateful for all them, because they make the show go.
Who's the one editor that you have that you're always with? He's like the ginger guy. Big guy. Who's that?
Yeah, that's Eric Curtis.
That guy, he's a fucking savage. That guy, he makes really good content.
Yeah, he's my video guy.
Yeah, he's savage. I like that guy a lot. I see him on your page all the time.
Yeah. So that's Eric Curtis. I nicknamed him ETP. Bless you.
Boom.
Nice.
Woo.
Ha.
Boom. Fucking fired up sometimes. Oh yeah. Besides that though, is there any other like in terms of like your umbrella, the On the Stacks umbrella, like what are some other things that you're not necessarily, well, I'll say, because from the start you got to be passionate with it. What other passions do you have under the OTS umbrella that you want to like take on going forward besides just podcasting, or if anything, like is there anything else you're interested in doing?
Everything.
Boom.
Let me think about that for a second. So I would definitely like to expand like in other areas of like other, say, industries like of content and stuff. obviously I'm gonna have my own merch, right? So like, obviously, I know we talked about this once before too, like when we first met, but like, having my own, like, listen, I'm never gonna make $1 million, at least not anytime soon, off the merch. And like, to be honest, like I'm lucky if like I break even, but like it helps support the show.
Yeah.
Right. So like every time I sell something, like I have the people I pay to help me put the show together.
Yeah.
So like anytime I sell a piece of merch, by the way, for anyone listening, it just goes in my team's pockets. You know what I mean? Because like I'm paying them to put my show together. So like I'm not making money, right? And that's fine, and I'm okay with that, right? Like it's it's there so that it can keep the show going.
Yeah.
But I'm so that's one that obviously I'm already doing and have done. But like obviously I want to expand it and make it bigger. Merch, like it's cool to have like your own brand.
I think it's great for marketing too. Like I see you wearing a Mindset hoodie, and I know that that's Bill's hoodie. Like that's your hoodie.
Yeah.
I see that out on the streets. I'll know that that's your hoodie.
Exactly.
It's so great for marketing.
Yeah. So like obviously creating my own merch, which like I said, it's already in the works. But other stuff, man. Let me think. Like I said, I definitely want to like expand into like other areas of content, and like I'm always looking to like partner up with people, collaborate, everything. But yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely opportunities to, if somebody else wants to do a podcast. Listen, like I'm not gonna start it. Like I like sports, maybe not as much as you guys are wearing Eagles jerseys, boo. But
Cowboys,
yeah. But like I like sports, but I'm not like a crazy sports guy, so I don't know enough about sports. I'll never start a sports podcast. Right? I'm not gonna be a host of a podcast. But if somebody came to me and was like, "Yo, hey, I want to start a sports podcast, like, and do it like under your umbrella and be called like OTS Sports, brought to you by On the Stacks." Like, if someone's listening and wants to do that, like, come talk to me because, I've got the system, I've got a studio, I've got the people, I got the team.
OTS is the next Barstool Sports in this bitch. You're just gonna start staking your flag everywhere.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, listen,
people,
like,
that's dope.
Yeah, listen, like, I know a lot of people might knock me like for saying this, but like, not that I'm trying to copy Barstool, like, because my content's not their content.
Oh no, not at all.
But at the same time, like what they've done, like anyone can do. It's just most people don't want to do the work, right? So I think I could do that too. In different areas, like there could be health and fitness, there could be sports, there could be outdoors, art, music, like whatever it is. And I feel like I'm at a point, like I'm not crazy expert, but I've been doing this for a few years, at least enough. Like I've figured just about all of it out and how to monetize it, right? Yeah. That like I could guide people to do it and to to kind of get where I got. And so if somebody like wants to do that but doesn't have like whatever, like all the other pieces of the puzzle and wants to come be part of something with me, like I'm not going to do the work, like you're going to do the work in terms of like running your show, but like
giving them a platform.
I'm giving them a platform, giving them space, I'm giving them the expertise, the blueprint. Like Barstool built the blueprint, and it's just like you could take that and you can just make it your own and just do your own thing. But yeah, so like that's kind of like we'll call it the master plan. My secret's revealed, but the thing is, like, I know like a lot of people sometimes right, $10 billion, $1 million. But no, I think a lot of people sometimes be like, oh, why do you share so much of like what you're doing? It's like because no one's gonna try to do it. Yeah, you know what I mean. So like I don't care about telling anyone like all these ideas and plans because literally no one's gonna do it. Like people that are listening might be like, oh, I'm gonna try to do that too. No, you're not, because you're probably not. Yeah, it's like 1 in a million person that's actually gonna like go do the work. Yeah, because and I know you guys know this, but like this is a lot of work.
Oh yeah,
this is people don't realize what it takes to put together a good show.
It's a whole business.
It is.
Absolutely.
It's a legit business.
Yeah, like people don't realize how much time you spend in it, and I don't even know how much time I spend. I really don't, because I don't keep track. But if I ever thought about it, and it'd be so much that people would be like, "You're insane." Yeah. I tell everybody like I'm a psycho because I don't stop with it, and I just keep going. Yeah. And like it's a lot of work, but it's also like rewarding to me, and I love it.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so like in terms of like other things I want to do, like other content like that, I don't know, maybe write a book one day.
That'd be cool.
That would be sick.
Really cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe get a sneaker deal. I don't know, like dude, like I know cool. All this stuff sounds crazy, and people like some people that are like listening, they're gonna laugh.
What shoe?
I don't know.
Like what brand is shoe?
Nike,
That's sick.
Adidas.
Gotta
I
be
don't know.
Nike.
Like
Gotta be Nike. I'm jacking that right now. Nike.
Yeah, Nike.
I'm-
Hit us up. Let's go.
Yeah, Nike or Puma. I think I can get down with
Puma?
Puma. Yeah, Puma's tough.
I like the Adidas
Yeah.
pants. I can never get down with the shoes though, so
Yeah.
don't hate me for that. But sponsor me with the pants. Though. I fuck with you guys.
But yeah,
For
stuff
sure.
like that, man. Like, you know, obviously I'm not really doing anything actively to kind of pursue those things, and it's, you know, obviously gonna take a long time to get
Yeah.
to those types of things. But listen, I think it's possible, and I know a lot of people are probably, you know, are like, dude, that guy's crazy, like he's crazy. But
Fuck those people. Fuck
yeah,
them.
yeah. But like
We're just
honestly,
listening.
yeah, I mean, like you really are just one step away
Yeah.
from doing these things, and people I think people don't realize like how close you actually are or actually could be.
Oh yeah.
And you know, like brand deals, like I want to do other brand deals, like put me on a billboard. Put me on a billboard. Like I built, you know, my brand and my reputation. Like I feel like a lot of people, not to brag, but a lot of people know, you know, about my brand and my name and my face because of, you know, a lot of different things, but also, you know, because of like the podcast and everything. But like if somebody wants to be like you know, wants me to be like it's already actually happening. I'm not gonna say what, but like I do have a small like brand deal with like a company, a product
Yeah.
that they're using my name and my face for like the spokesperson of the company.
Oh,
So that's
wow.
already that's actually already happening.
That's cool.
It's actually already happening. You know, it's not like $1 million or anything. You
Yeah.
know, but like something like that. I like thought of that and like had that as like an idea, a goal. Like a couple years ago. Like I've said that to my wife. I've said that to my mom. Like I've said it out loud. Like I've said it out loud. And once you say those things out loud, they'll come true.
There's
Oh,
power
yeah.
to that.
Yeah. So like I said that, like I said that statement, like put me on a billboard. Now they're not putting me on a billboard, but it's gonna be in other ads,
Yeah.
social media,
Yeah,
other
yeah.
right. But like I said, like put me on something, like you know, like let's work a deal, and you know, like but yeah, so like stuff like that too. Like there's all different avenues of stuff that you can do, and
Hell yeah.
I'm
man.
here for it all.
Yeah. For some people, I'm sure it is, but it's at least for us. I know it's never just the podcast. Like that's why even before I called it the umbrella. Like we have our Go Getters podcast. Well, we have our Go Getters umbrella, and then that starts with the podcast. But then there's hundreds of other things that we want to dive into too. It's just all about like the time, the money, and whether or not you really have enough time to put the effort in to focus on just that specific thing
Right.
and take away from like a podcast or like we started our second, I guess, big venture, which was like our fitness thing because we're in love with fitness and we've been posting a lot of content for that. But it's so hard to maintain a podcasting schedule and then creating like a fitness content schedule. So it just takes like a lot
Yeah.
of planning.
Yeah.
And, like
With content, you
figuring
got to
out.
get down to a science.
Yeah.
You got to
Yeah.
figure out like your schedules
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Yeah, but once you can start getting other people, you know, to help you,
Yeah.
you know,
like
like
outsourcing shit.
yeah. So like, you know, I mean, I still struggle with it myself, even though I have four people working on content like simultaneously for me. Like obviously I create a lot, but everyone, I mean, in terms of like editing it and bringing it all together, right? But like once, you know, to make those things possible that you want to do, like the answer is you have to get people, hire people, pay people to do a lot of this work for you, and then that will enable you to go focus on creating that other thing, right? So you just got to take it like one thing at a time.
Because effectively, you want to just focus on the creativity aspect of it. Like when we do these things, you just want to be the person making the content and like doing what you do best, not
Right.
all the other stuff behind the scenes that like you could outsource to other people.
Right.
I get that a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. So like you just, you know, I know you guys are probably like on the verge of monetizing your show and do it and, you know, make some money from it and take that money and pay other people to put it all together for you.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you're still going to be involved quite a bit. Like it's not, you know, but it's going to lessen your load a little enough that it'll free you up to do some other things.
Yes.
Right.
So, you know, do that.
That's
And,
ideally what you should want to work towards.
yeah. Like you don't want to be doing it all yourself. And,
No.
you know, like you said, like this is what you're best at, sitting right here at this table right now, this and doing those other things too.
Yeah.
But not spending hours editing the show and, you know,
Yeah. Right.
like get somebody that's a professional,
Yeah.
like that's what they want to do and let them do that.
yeah.
If that's what they love, let
Yeah.
them do that. You know?
Yeah.
That's a fact.
And as big minded as we all are, like once this your show and our show, once it gets bigger than we would have ever imagined it would be, you almost need other people to help you do these other
Oh
things.
yeah,
Like,
100%.
what
Listen,
we do right now to manage like the couple hundred followers and subscribers that we do have, like that's enough for that. But if you have 10,000 subscribers, 100,000 subscribers, 1 million subscribers, like it'll get harder, like way harder than a workload for 2 people that we just can't handle it.
I literally, even from the start, and I'm not even ashamed to admit this, I've never edited a single episode of my show. Never. Not one. Not even the first one. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I didn't even have, could I have made the time at that time in 2020? Probably.
Yes.
But I didn't want to, and I looked at it as it was an investment.
Yeah.
I invested in paying somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think I believed even from the very start that it would become something more.
Yeah.
So
That's honorable.
I just from literally for first couple of years, like, you know, people will probably be like, dude, you're crazy for doing that. Like, I invested thousands of dollars, thousands in people and equipment and stuff to make this thing go.
Yeah.
That's
like
real
it's,
wisdom.
you know what I mean? Like,
I'm stubborn. Like, I think to myself, like, oh, I can figure it out myself. Or we'll figure it out ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, we'll just figure out how to do it. But really, like, that's what money is, a tool for that exactly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And, you know, like, honestly, like I said, like, I literally, even from the start, couldn't have, I probably could have, but I say it's like I couldn't have done the show without the people's help. I literally couldn't have. Like, and I probably wouldn't have, because I probably wouldn't have figured some of those things out. Like, I probably just would have been like, screw it, it's too hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, for me, I think I knew that's where that might happen to me. So I was just like, screw it. If I'm gonna have to pay somebody to do this, so what? And I don't spend X amount over there anymore.
Yeah.
I'll spend it here because I like doing this, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just cut it from somewhere else.
You just copped a new studio.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just made room to cop a new studio.
Right.
That's crazy.
That is dope.
That's commitment, bro.
Yeah. Thanks, man.
That's this man bought a whole piece of commercial real estate.
Bought a whole building.
Yeah, bought a whole
building.
freaking building.
Bought a whole building.
OTS fucking studio.
Yeah.
Bought a whole damn building.
How does that fucking, like, what does that do to your brain when you fucking think about that? Like,
that's a big, like, step. That's
a
big ass
It's
step.
still weird because it's still somewhat new. Like, it's like I'm only like, I don't know, a couple months into it.
Yeah.
And it like almost kind of like hasn't really hit me yet, but sort of. But yeah, no, it's just like it was right place, the right time.
Yeah.
And it's like that next step.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to have that building and have that space, and it's more than just the studio now. Like, you know, I know you guys have been there, and you guys are gonna be there again soon. Because, spoiler alert, you guys will be on my show soon. But
yeah. I didn't know we were dropping that, but
oh shit, might be.
No, it's cool.
Oh.
It's cool.
Yeah, it's cool. Fuck it.
Yeah.
Do it
That's what
live.
it is.
Do it live.
Boom.
Boom.
Yeah. But nobody knows when though, so that's the
Right.
you know.
Stay tuned.
But yeah, so like, you know, my space, like I've got more than just. It's more than just a studio.
Yeah.
You know, like I can do other things there now.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I could.
Right.
Like we could meet people there. We could have collaborations there. Like we could just do other things with other content creators, other podcasters that just want to like meet up. Like it's just like even just to have that place now to meet.
Yeah.
Like, to meet up. Like it's just cool.
Yeah.
You know?
I've always had that
HQ.
idea in my head.
Yeah, it is. It's
HQ.
the HQ,
Yeah.
and I feel like I'm gonna outgrow it very soon.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which is a good problem.
It is a
And
good fucking problem to
it
have,
is.
man.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it's exciting. It's super cool, and it's a real estate venture too. You know,
Absolutely.
also something I want to get in. You know, besides, you know, it's not a lot of people who maybe don't understand real estate. Like it's not just, you know, a home for my podcast.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just like a studio. It's like it's a real estate venture. And
It's an investment.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an investment.
Under that umbrella.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's go.
OTS Capital.
Yeah.
That's it right
Let's
there.
go.
Yeah.
That's tough.
OTS Capital.
Come talk
LLC.
to him.
I'd imagine that would be nuts, man, because I don't know what it's like to run a one-man show. Like, I'd figured that'd be fucking crazy. And to do that all, I mean, obviously you said, and you give major praise to your team, you have a lot of help, but like accomplishing that by yourself, like, seems fucking insane to me. Like, my whole idea when I started this is I was going to do it by myself. It just so happened to work out perfectly that I was able to bring him in, and fucking, I couldn't imagine doing everything that we do here by myself. It just, I don't think it would fucking work. I don't know how you do that.
Yeah. Right. It wouldn't.
Yeah. I mean,
Well, he has a team. Like, there is a team.
yeah.
That supports, like, on the back end. But
Yeah.
But even like for the bouncing around of ideas and stuff, and like where you want the studio to be and how do you want it to look, like how the fuck do you go about figuring all that? Do you do all that by yourself, or do you bounce that?
Yeah. I mean, again, that was also a team effort.
Yeah.
You know, I brought in Eric Curtis, ETP, my video guy, and you know, him, and then my other buddy, and he's an executive EP of the show, producer, Jimmy T. Martin. He came in and helped me map it out too.
Yeah.
Like we stood in the room and we all yelled at each other for like an hour until we figured it out. And they're gonna laugh, because I was like stubborn about it. Like I want it to be a certain way.
Yeah.
And Jimmy was like, "No, Bill, this isn't like in a professional way." He's like, "No, that's not what you want to do."
Yeah.
And at first, like you said, like I'm not always right, and
Yeah.
I don't claim to know everything. And that's why I have these people around me, because they talked me into doing it in a way that I wouldn't have done it if it weren't for them.
Yeah.
And if I didn't do that, it wouldn't be as good as it looks right now. Like it would be completely different. But yeah, so yeah, obviously I had some input, but like these guys were the ones they basically made the decision, and I'm like, okay, that you're right. That's how it has to be. I'll hang up my stubborn hat over here.
Well, you need those kind of people around you, because you can get so jaded in your own mind that you think you're right and everything you do is perfect, and this is my vision and my dream, so I'm going to do it my way. And that can fucking hurt you in the long run sometimes.
Yeah, it's too short-sighted. And the thing is, like, and even if you don't have, like, the team, like, like you guys may not have, like, the few people that I have.
Yeah.
But, like, just find somebody and ask them.
Yeah.
And I guarantee someone's probably going to try to help you for free just because they want to help you. Like, I'm going to help you. Like, if you asked me, I would help you. I'll have Eric come help you. Like, and I think just asking people for help, like, I think you'd be surprised at how many people would want to help you. Just find somebody that knows those things. Like I found Eric. I didn't know Eric until we started working together. Had no clue who he was. And just through, actually it was his sister that connected us, but like I needed an Eric.
Yeah.
And I was like, I just got to find somebody that's really good at that and let him do it. But that's it, man. It's just find somebody and just ask them.
Yeah.
Like I guarantee somebody will probably help you enough to at least, even if it's just a little bit, it'll be enough to at least get you kind of where you need to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, man.
Luckily, we discovered a lot of those kinds of people so far, but it's more or less been for like the business and like the outer brand of the whole thing. Like somebody like shout out Matt building us a website. We got people like Mondo helping us out with the business and like that aspect. We have you now like helping basically mentor like a lot of shit that we do. And so yeah, you do meet a lot of people along the way just networking, but nobody necessarily so far for the inner workings of the podcast yet. That's just all shit we have to figure out on our own.
Like what? Give me an example.
Like of those kinds of things, I would say mainly editing, because I do all the editing by myself, and I did not do even a lick of editing prior to this podcast, not even a little bit.
So you're saying like you need help in some of those?
Yeah, even
clips,
just like
the most important thing.
I would say like the overarching word would just be production, because oddly enough, a lot of people love our show, but I think the reason they do is because of us and how we carry ourselves in like the actual like the talking aspect of the podcast. But we can improve tenfold on all the production. Like we could do all of that way better. And that's just shit I just genuinely don't understand enough yet. Like you can go on YouTube, you can scroll down, you'll see how people have great thumbnails, great titles, great lighting, great audio, great visual. They'll be panning, switching around different cameras. All that shit like I can know and I can say. But doing it in your own studio and mastering that gets way more complicated than you think it would.
Yeah, but it's you can accomplish it.
Absolutely.
And like literally like you just got to find an ETP. That's my guy. Like you just got to find that guy, and however you figure out to pay him or some type of trade or some type of give him equity in the company. I don't know, something to get somebody good and let them do their thing. And you know, it's not going to happen overnight. Listen, like you guys are what how many episodes in? We're like
this,
like under 30.
Think will be the 31st. Like when we drop your episode, this will be 31. I think.
All right, so let's just to put this in perspective right now. So I'm at, as of the recording of this, I'm at like 134.
That's fucking crazy.
I've already recorded like up to 140.
Yeah.
Okay. So by like over the next few weeks, I'll be up to 140. The video of my show did not start until episode, what was it? It was just this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it was episode 100.
Wow.
It was episode 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what. It was the 2-year anniversary of my show. So my show was audio only for 2 years. And then did I say 2 years? The 2-year anniversary. I started episode 100 was full video. So I've only done like 40 full video episodes, right? So think about that. You guys have done 31 full video
Well,
episodes.
no, we would have only
right?
done 20 because our first 10 were
Oh,
also no
okay.
video. Yeah.
Okay.
So 10.
Well, either way.
Yeah.
Episode
way, you guys-
11, I believe, is our first
Okay.
video.
Either way.
podcast.
Delaney,
Yeah, you
whatever
guys
that
are like still ahead. Like even though you don't have the cameras and the lighting that you want
Yeah.
yet, you guys are like way ahead. Like you guys are like way ahead. Like
Yeah.
you're further along than you think. And I know I'm impatient too, so like I get it. I understand what's going through your head, right? But yeah, man, like it'll come. It's not gonna happen overnight, but you'll get there, and the right people will come into your life at the right time,
Absolutely.
and it'll happen, and you'll have all the cool shit, and it's gonna look really cool. Like it looks cool now, by the way.
Thank
like,
you.
Thank you, man.
This is super cool.
Thank you.
Like this is awesome. Like this is so cool what you guys have here, and you should seriously be proud of yourselves. Like
Thank
this
you,
is
man.
Thank
this
you
is
very
freaking
much.
awesome.
Kev, can you put the applaud?
Clap.
Let's see. Let's
Yeah.
hope I don't fucking
Hit it.
get it wrong. Fuck.
Oh. There it is. Boom.
Shout out
There it
Bill.
is.
Let's
Bullet
fucking
Bill.
go.
But yeah, man, like, you'll get there and it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen soon. And yeah, I know you guys are gonna do something big with it, and I can't wait to see what you do.
Thank
Believe
you,
me.
man.
Thank you, man. I mean,
And same for you too.
yeah,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, no doubt.
This
Yeah.
connection that we have here, man, it's crazy too. Because I know I brought it up to you the first time too, but I remember when I shot you that first DM, like when we were like
Yeah.
fucking nothing. I think we had like 4 episodes probably live at that point, maybe even less than that. I don't even know if we had an episode live yet.
I think you did.
Oh man, that was a crazy time. But I know what you're saying to be true though, because this whole journey has been magically perfect in that way so far. It's like shit just falls into place, and I know he knows this too, but things will just throw themselves at you when they know you're ready for it.
Yeah,
Like when
totally.
you're ready to take that step, these things will just happen to you. And that's been true for us in this whole journey so far.
And Mondo, we gotta give a shout to. I apologize that we haven't or I haven't shouted out Mondo any sooner.
Mondeezy.
Hopefully he made it this far into the episode. But
oh yeah.
But yeah, so he's the reason that we all met.
Yeah.
True.
You know, so shout out to Mondo.
Seriously.
Very true.
And again, it's just being connected. This is all pure networking, you know? I mean, like his fiance was on my show a long time ago, and that's how we all connected and we met. But like, if it wasn't for him making the connection, like we wouldn't be sitting here.
Yeah, man.
That's one of the coolest
Crazy how
parts
the
about
world
the podcasting journey is like the love that you get from just the people you would have never expected. Like
Yeah.
I knew about Mondo for a while too, even similar to how it was with you. Like I followed him on Instagram a little while back. I shot him a DM. Like I would like some of his stuff. I'd like some of his stories or whatever. Never knew that it would turn into anything. But one day when we started this, we were like, yo, we got to have that Mondo guy on the podcast one day.
Yeah.
And this was early. Like we wanted to have him on in like the first 10 episodes. It just never worked out. Never worked out with like scheduling and planning. We finally made it happen. And he's been one of the coolest people and like one of the most useful people for us yet. He's always spitting free game to us. He's always just trying to help us out where he can. Like the motherfucker literally donated
$500.
$500 to that turkey thing that we were doing for Thanksgiving to give away food.
He's legit.
Yeah.
Kicked it off, donated 500. Like that's speaks more to me than a lot of things. Like he's willing to invest into us that heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's legit.
Shout out to
He's the
Mondo.
man.
Yeah, shout out
Yeah.
Mondo.
Also, I forgot to finish my Jerry Rizzo story earlier. 'Cause it made me think of it because this is kind of crazy. So Jerry Rizzo, we went to Penn State together.
Yeah.
Right. We met at Penn State. We're both the same major. We both had PR class together. And so after college, right after college, like I worked somewhere else for like a year.
Yeah.
Right. And then I got into the family printing business, so like a year after college. And sales job, right? And first thing I do is like, all right, I'm just gonna contact all my buddies from Penn State. That I went to Penn State with, and see where they're at. It's only a year out of college. See where they're working. And see if maybe they can help me get an intro somewhere. To a company, right? To make like a sales call, right?
Yeah.
Bottom line. And so Jerry was one of them. Jerry was like one of the first guys, right? And I messaged him on Facebook, and I'm like, yo, Jerry, hey, like I'm doing this printing thing with my family business, and I see you're working for the Philadelphia 76ers. Like that's what he was doing, right?
Whoa,
Yeah.
Right.
that's
So
cool.
so he's working like in the social media team with the Sixers down in Philly. And I was like, yo, it was a total long shot, dude. And I know you're kind of new there, right? Like I was like, but do you think you can get me like a contact, somebody there in marketing that like you can maybe like get me their info or whatever,
Yeah.
like that I can meet, try to meet with them and see if we could do some printing for them, And he was like, yeah, no, he's like, I don't know, I'm new, and like, whatever. He's like, I can probably pass your info along, and he's like, I'm like, all right, yeah, I get it. Like, if you don't want to give me their information, like, I get that, I respect that,
Yeah.
I was like, but even if you just gave me a name, I was like, you don't even have to give me a phone number. Like, no, just give me a name. I'll find my way to contact. I'll find my own way.
Yeah.
You know, and then you know, and this never happens in sales, by the way. Like what I'm about to say, but he then messaged me back after basically kind of saying like almost like no, but he then messaged me back, and in the sales world, it's always like, yeah, I'll pass your info along, and if they're interested, they'll get back to you.
Yeah.
And nobody ever gets back to you, by the way. Nobody ever, except this situation.
Oh wow!
Right?
Check that out.
Yeah. So he messaged me back. He's like, hey, dude. He's like, actually, I think I might have got a contact for you. He goes, and he's his name is Chris Mallon, and he works in marketing, and they might have something that they need you to give them like a quote on. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. He's like, so he'll probably be in touch. And I'm thinking like, okay, like maybe, right? Like this probably still won't happen, but I'm hopeful, right? Freaking Chris Mallon next day emails me. Chris Mallon from the Sixers.
Yeah.
It was like, yo, Bill,
Yeah.
I got your info from Jerry Rizzo.
Yeah.
And I'm like, nah. I'm like, this can't be real. I'm like 1 month into this job with my family business, right?
Yeah.
1 month. I'm like super rookie, right?
Yeah.
And Chris Mallon emails me. I was like, hey, Bill, got your info from Jerry Rizzo. This is like gold right here. This never, ever happens. And he's like, we want you to quote this job, right? I'm like, okay. It was like for the whole season. It was like an ongoing thing for the entire basketball season.
Yeah.
And first quote, it was like 10 grand. It was like $10,000. And I was like, you know, for me at the time, it's still a lot of money now, but at the time I was a newbie, right? And I'm getting this quote, and even some of my coworkers were like, oh man, like that'd be cool if you get this, but like highly unlikely. You know, they're not going to try us up here in Wilkes-Barre. They're down in Philly, right? And long story short, I got the job. Like we got the order.
Yeah.
And they've been a 10-year client.
Damn.
10 years. Wow. 10 years. So that literally that's the power of networking.
Yeah.
And you know, so again, shout out to Jerry Rizzo. I still have his business. I have his business card from when he doesn't work there anymore. He left after a few years. But I still have his business card. I have it tucked in like the outside of a frame behind my desk at work. I have a frame of that first job that we printed.
Wow.
And it's, you know, it was the Sixers like 50th anniversary too.
Crazy.
It was like a cool, it was like talk about a cool project to work on. And I framed the job like like two prints, like two of them framed. I framed it, and I got his business card along with Chris Mallon's.
Yeah.
And then along with the VP of marketing, Mark Gullett. Also shout out to Mark Gullett. Those three guys, you know, Jerry introduced me to Mark. Mark introduced me, or Jerry introduced me to Chris, and Chris introduced me to Mark.
Yeah.
And so I got all three of those guys' business cards tucked in that, because they were like my first client, right? Like, and first real big client. I got all three of their business cards like literally tucked in the corner of that frame behind me, and it's literally been there for 10 years.
That's dope.
And I'm probably gonna take that with me wherever I go, wherever. Like that frame is just gonna stay with me like forever, because you know, I don't know. It was a cool thing, and now fast forward 10 years later, me and Jerry are doing this OTS After show thing together, and Jerry's gonna be like my co-host for it, and it's, you know, it's not gonna be like a produced show like my actual show, obviously. You know, it's just gonna be a live, you know, whatever it's gonna be. But yeah, so that's my Jerry Rizzo story.
Oh yeah.
Sales, networking.
You basically went to the league for a fucking
pretty much.
season,
The world works in a
Yeah,
crazy
dude
way.
got me out on the court. Like I'm like Jerry was like the man. Like
That's
got me on. Like
cool.
I have pictures on like standing center court.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn, that's some cool shit, boys. I gotta take a wicked piss. So
Go ahead.
I'll be right back.
All right, do
Go
it.
for it.
Do it.
100 degrees in here too, by the way.
It's a little warm. Let's
I
turn
don't know if you
turn
guys
that heat
peeped
down.
that or
Yeah,
not,
let's
but I'm in here sweating.
let's turn that heat down.
Yo, I put that shit on low too. I put it on low and turned it all the way down. That's what I was saying.
I think
before.
it's been going for a while though.
Yeah, for fucking over an hour. That thing literally, I was saying, I mean, I don't know if it's the size of the room or like the way it's built or how it retains heat.
Yeah.
But that shit literally turns this room into a sauna.
Sheesh.
The AC didn't work the same way though.
No.
Now it was just some old busted ass AC, but it didn't, like, it would take about an hour in the summer for it to get cold in here. I mean, I guess it's been an hour and it's gotten that hot, but that thing, like I said, is on the lowest setting for the heat and everything, and it gets hot as fuck in here.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah, man. But how you like it so far? Like,
love
what do you think about like the vibe in this place?
I love it. Yeah, I love the lights. I love the I don't know what do you have a name for these? Like just
they're just
I don't know what.
LEDs.
Yeah,
And
the
those
LEDs. Yeah, like I got like kind of similar stuff in mind, but yeah, I love that. I love the vibe. I love the you got the Go-getters back here.
2 albums. We got the Jimi Hendrix Experience. We got Voice of the Heroes. If you listen to rap,
Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, Muhammad Ali, and then we got Steve Jobs over there.
Love it.
Fucking the Mecca. Like at first, we called the studio the Mecca because that sign says "Welcome to the Mecca." The camera never gets to see this, but it says "Welcome to the Mecca" over there, and then
Welcome to the Mecca.
There says the Mecca Sports Bar. I don't necessarily remember how he said we got those, but I think they might have already been in this house when he purchased it. And then it just kind of stuck, so we literally just call the studio the Mecca.
The Mecca.
It's pretty cool.
I love it. It's a cool studio.
But yeah, even like all the LEDs and shit, like we plan to upgrade that. Like they're fucking falling down over there.
Yeah.
We had to tape them up
but it's cool.
But
it's cool.
It's what's cool about it is like, well, at least so far, because we don't necessarily have the funds to just ball out and like get everything we want to get.
Yeah,
this is how the studio was since day one.
Dude, this is like 10 times more than what most people have.
Yeah, I mean, that's like when I said earlier about bringing him on and doing the show with him. That's why it worked out so perfectly, because when I first had the idea to do the podcast, I didn't know where the fuck I was going to do it. Like at first, me and my buddy JJ were just doing them in my backyard, like literally in my backyard with the wind hitting the microphone and shit. Like we got 2 mics wired to like a fucking Mac laptop, and it just wasn't going to work that way. And when I think me and him were doing that, I was like 18. Like I didn't have enough money to fucking buy a property or rent an area to use. I couldn't really do any of that.
Right.
So he said from the jump of buying this house, like he always thought that this room would be a dope podcast room.
It is dope.
Just fuck around and turn it into a podcast room. I think the layout of it's really cool, but like what we want to do with just the entire vibe of the room and everything going forward, I think will be really cool once we have the means to be able to do that.
Yeah, dude. And by the way, like, it is super cool right now, so don't discount that.
Thank you.
Seriously.
What I think is the coolest part about it is just this is what it was since day one. Yeah,
you good, bro?
Fucking good,
yeah, I'm great. I don't know if I've ever broken the seal on a pod yet, so
yeah, I'm probably gonna have to go soon too.
I fucking have to go really bad, but I don't give a fuck. I'm trying
we're
to
gonna
weather the storm.
Yeah, we're gonna push through.
Yeah, fuck yeah, but
yeah, I love the studio. I do.
When we went to yours though, man, I think like
liberating.
Yeah, liberating, right?
Yeah.
For our fans that don't know, like when we went to Bill's studio, like it might have been like a month ago at this point. When I saw your studio for the first time, man, I was blown away. I don't even know if you remember that, but I was like left speechless, like seeing what the fuck you had there, and it just almost didn't seem real to me. Yeah, this room is like
sometimes it doesn't seem real to me.
Yeah, I mean. That must be a wild thing. I mean, it's still like even walking here and seeing this table and seeing the microphones on the roadcaster, like that part doesn't really feel real to me either. But it's like I understand it because I still live it. It doesn't seem real, but it is. But for me to see that was unimaginable for me. I've never really been on like a set like that before. It was fucking cool. Like what you have going on too is like you can't discredit that shit either.
Thanks,
you have
bro.
Probably the best studio. I mean, I haven't seen many studios, but that's definitely by far the best studio I've ever seen in person.
Thanks, man.
Yeah, your shit's dope.
Thank you.
It is very impressive.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
it
was
fun.
So cool to walk in those doors. Like, damn, this is like it happened.
Yeah, I remember when you guys first walked in.
Yeah.
It was cool.
It was cool.
Yeah.
The door says on the stacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's like literally our dream. Like that's what we wanted to achieve, or that's what we still want to achieve so bad. So like being able to walk into your facility and see all of that, it's like
and
it showed us it's possible.
And it is, and it's so much easier than most people think. That's the thing. It's just I know this is like a contradiction, but it's a lot harder than you think, but it's also a lot easier than you think.
Yeah.
And it really is. It's you just got to do the work. And you guys are already doing the work, and I mean, you guys are gonna get there. I know you are, and when you guys pass me off, just remember.
Come on,
just remember me, all right?
Me and him always we're gonna have to keep crack
doing
jokes.
We'll have to keep doing like updates.
Yeah, literally every fucking however many episodes or whatever. We got a lot of collaborations coming. We haven't even fucking mentioned any of that stuff yet. But all that's gonna be really cool. No,
we're not talking about that.
We can keep it secret for now.
Yeah, keep it
on the
DL.
But yeah, like it is so possible. Like literally anything's possible.
It's just the time. Like the time. You just gotta put the fucking time.
Yeah, and just keep doing it and just be super consistent. That's like the thing that's like the number one thing that people have always said about me and my show is they're like, dude, it's so consistent.
Yeah.
It's so consistent. Every week, day in and day out, every single week you don't miss a beat. And I'm like, yeah. And that's why it's successful.
That's the formula.
That's
I think
it.
For most artistic endeavors, that's literally the formula. Like
that's literally it.
You don't have to be a pro day one.
No.
Nobody will ever fucking
and I'm
be a
still
pro
not.
day one.
I'm still not. Listen, like literally the difference between the difference is just doing it.
Yeah.
And being consistent.
Yeah.
And like you literally don't need you don't ever have to even be the best, because if you're still doing it, like people are going to give up. Other people are going to give up.
Oh yeah. Before,
you know what I mean?
Before you do.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
like, you're gonna, somebody might be better than you, but they might quit sooner than you.
Yeah.
And then guess what? Who's
The next in line.
right?
It's
That's
a
right.
marathon. No, it's a marathon.
It
It's not a
is.
sprint.
It is a
right?
marathon.
It's like erosion. You ever see like a little drop of water hit a rock for like 5 years, 10 years,
Just wear it
50
wear it
years?
away.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, it's a freaking valley in there.
Boom.
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 Go
Yeah.
get this podcast X on the stacks. Let's go.
Hell yeah.
We good? What are we at right now?
It's like an hour 30, hour
You
25.
guys good?
What do you guys want to do?
I'm good.
I'll keep going. If
Yeah?
we do keep going, though, I'm gonna have to go rock this place then.
Yeah, we might have to
I think we're good.
You want to call it?
Yeah.
All right.
calling it.
Yeah. Minute
Well,
30.
fucking Bill, you are an absolute savage. First and foremost, we'll say that. Thank you for coming here. We've been wanting to do this for quite some time. We'll be on your show soon. Hint, 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 hint.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we also got a lot of other big ass endeavors coming too, which hopefully we could turn into an ongoing fucking thing where we just keep taking over this motherfucking city, moving those pawns up the chessboard.
Yeah.
That's what we're trying to do over here.
Yeah.
I love
And, yeah, man. Thank you again for fucking coming on the show. This
Yeah.
is dope. Thanks for the hat too. Check out
Yeah.
onthestacksmerch.com. What
That's
do you
right.
call it?
Yeah, on thestacks.com.
Ah,
check out a
we
hat.
want to get to the merch a little quicker. Onthestacks.com/merch.
Merch.
It's all there.
You got it ready.
And it helps supports the show.
Keep
you
plugging.
know?
What else you got? Keep plugging.
What else? I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah, your
Subscribe-
IGs and shit.
Yeah, subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll make sure to link all
obviously
of it.
very simple. Go on
Mhm.
YouTube. It's On the Stacks podcast.
Mm.
YouTube.com/On the Stacks podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Follow on social. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn,
Also,
Twitter.
Yeah.
Follow Bill Corcoran Jr., right?
That's right. Yeah, my
On,
personal Instagram. Yeah,
Ah.
just Bill Corcoran Jr.
Mm-hmm.
This will be the hardest, the most I'll ever have to fucking link in the description because you got a lot of shit going
There
on.
it is.
So make sure
There
to
it
go
is.
down in that description.
boom,
Check
boom,
out Bill.
boom.
All of his shit seriously is savage. You guys don't want to miss the shit he has coming out either. If you love us, you'll love him too. So just
Yeah.
go check his shit out.
Likewise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my even my people that are listening too, make sure you subscribe to these guys here, the go-getters, because
Let's go.
you guys really are. You guys live the name. You guys
Appreciate
live the
it.
name.
Let's
I
go.
love it. I love the name. I love what you guys
Thank
are
you
doing.
very much, man.
I'm grateful to be here, and this is a cool experience, man.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah.
This
Go
shit
with
was
Bill.
this is blessings. But
For
love
sure.
you guys. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
All right.
Boom. Boom.